Cringe isn't real. It can't hurt you. Cringe isn't real. It can't hurt you. It can't take control. Okay. Cringe isn't real. Cringe isn't real. It can't hurt you. At least I don't think. Cringe isn't real. Alright. Just drink your happy juice and it'll all be okay. The cringe will finally disappear. I need one more sip of my happy juice. Hang on. Oh, wait. Never mind. I got it. I'm not doing it right. I have to do it in front of the mic. God. Oh, God. That intro was crap. Hey there, all you fellow gamers and meme creators. Michael the Meme King back again for another Man vs. History reaction video. And today we are looking at historical accuracy of firearms in Red Dead Online. The reason why I chose this one is because the next three videos on my list it's all to do with robberies and, well, basically it has all stuff to do with guns, or it has guns somehow in it. So I just I figured I needed to kind of get the historical accuracy of firearms, so that way I don't know, it just feels like it's a bit more easier. Of course, this is a Man vs. History production. It's not mine. I own none of this, and so far I haven't got copyrighted, but I don't want to jinx that, so I'm not going to. What the hell? My web's falling apart. So yeah, show Man vs. History some love by subscribing to his channel and liking his videos, and show my channel some love by subscribing to it and liking the videos, and comment on the videos and tell me what else you want to see on what else you want to see me view on the channel. Because if you guys do comment, I will read it, and if you guys want me to do a specific thing, I will do it. So just get that out of the way, because I don't really get many comments on any of my videos. I hardly get any. Right, I'm gonna stop wasting your time now, and I'm going to click play on the video. Like and subscribe if you do enjoy, and yeah, enjoy. Wait, before I oh, wait. Okay, there we go. Okay. Let's try it.
Hey folks, so today we're going to be taking a look at the firearm prices in Red Dead Online. So how we're going to do this is we're going to compare the 1898 actual historical prices, and this is going to come from a variety of sources, things like the Sears and Roebuck's catalog in 1898, but also a bunch of other primary sources. And we're going to compare that to the prices stipulated in the Wheeler and Rawson catalog. So we're going to see how sort of close or far off Rockstar is on these. Now, as part of the research process, I scoured through centuries-old newspaper archives, a bunch of old books, and come across a lot of vintage gun ads as well. And when you do this, you really come across some very interesting things. Take, for instance, bicycle guns, which were actually a real thing in 1898. You could even purchase a bicycle rifle and a bicycle pistol through the Sears and Roebuck's 1898 catalog. Now, you might be thinking, why in the world would anybody need a gun when they're riding a bicycle? Well, let me hit you with some knowledge. In an 1897 article in the Gloucester Citizen, a tramp with a knife in his hand tried to assault a female bicyclist chasing her off her bike and into the woods. On the same day, another woman was riding her bike when somebody threw a stone at her, destroying her left eye. An 1898 article in the Sunderland Daily Echo and Shipping Gazette tells the story of a man that was cycling down the road when all of a sudden he was hit in the head and woke up in a ditch, robbed of his watch, chain, money, and bicycle. My favorite story I came across, and you can't make this up, was of a guy in 1897 who was attacked at night by a swarm of weasels while riding his bicycle. This is just gold. You should actually just quit watching the video right now because it can only go downhill from here. So yeah, apparently these things were quite common, necessitating the invention of bicycle guns, which came in a variety of configurations. Alright, let's get started with the Red Dead guns. Now I want to begin by saying that I think Rockstar actually did a great job visually with these guns. And I think they also accurately captured the reloading characteristics of each gun, and for the most part, all the guns they chose, for the most part, are historically correct for the time frame. The prices, on the other hand, that's a completely different story. So just to preface, I looked up every gun in the game, but I couldn't find the prices for all of them. Sometimes I would find newspaper articles discussing the guns. Like here you see an article on the bolt action rifle, historically the Krag Jorgensen model 1894, but no price information. Other guns like the Lamont revolver, which was produced by the Confederacy during the Civil War and carried by generals such as Jeb Stuart and P.G.T. Beauregard, were military sidearms that were never really aimed at the civilian market. Hence, no price information. So in other words, if I couldn't actually verify the 1898 price and I didn't have other documentation to help even get me in the ballpark, I just had to leave those guns out. Alright, let's get started. First up is a Cattleman revolver, which retails for $50. Now historically, this would have been the Colt Single Action Army, which in 1898 retailed in the Sears and Roebuck's catalog for $12. This means that the Red Dead Online markup from the historical 1898 price is 317%. Next up is the Double Action Revolver, which retails in Red Dead Online for $127. Now historically, this gun was the Colt Model 1892, New Army and Navy. The Sears catalog has a newer model that was available in 1898 called the Colt New Army Model 1894. In 1898, this gun retailed for a whopping $12. So crunching the numbers, the Red Dead Online markup on the Double Action Revolver is, well, pretty big, 958%. And for those of you who are wondering, the High Roller Revolver is the same gun, just engraved. Let's move on to the Mauser pistol. Pretty popular gun in Red Dead Online, which retails in-game for $600. In 1899, a Mauser C96 was advertised in a New York newspaper for $35. This is actually quite expensive, but these were known to be expensive even back in the day, as they sported clever design features like how the wooden holster, which is really just a storage case, doubled as a detachable stock, which is actually pretty cool. So taking those numbers into account, the Red Dead Online markup for the Mauser is actually pretty big. It's 1,614%. Now it's also possible that Rockstar marked it up because it's the preferred weapon of Han Solo, but I can't verify that. The last pistol we're going to tackle is the Volcanic Pistol, which retails on Red Dead Online for $270. Let me start by saying it's a bit bizarre that this gun's even in the game, seeing that its historical inspiration, the Volcanic repeating pistol, was only made during the 1850s, and gun technology advanced significantly from then to 1898.
Right.
In other words,
pause the video right here. Hang on. Where is it?
Not only did they not...
Okay, there. So, who thought this kind of gun design was a good idea? It looks like crap. In my personal opinion, this gun looks like crap. Who thought it was a good idea in the game and in real life to design a gun like this? I would not buy that. I would not waste my money on something like that. It looks so horrible. It looks disgustingly terrible. You know, mind you, it probably looks terrible but does great damage. It's one of those guns. So it looks terrible, but it's like a lifesaver. But seriously, it looks terrible. In my opinion, maybe some of you guys that are watching this think that this gun is actually pretty good. But in my opinion, it looks disgusting. Sorry, I just had to get that out of the way.
sell this gun for decades leading up to 1898, but it would have been completely obsolete long before the game's time frame. The Volcanic Pistol fired rocket ball ammunition, which sounds really cool, but because the propellant was contained in the base of the projectile, it just didn't have much in the way of firepower. These guns were so weak that there's an 1800s account of a man trying to kill himself with a Volcanic Pistol by shooting himself in the head. The first shot didn't kill him, so he
I wouldn't doubt him. If I had a gun like that, I'd shoot myself too.
shot himself again and again. When his family finally came home and found him, he had several gunshots to his temple, but was still very much alive, still conscious, and holding the gun. While Rockstar did a good job showing the unique loading mechanics of the gun, where the muzzles actually rotated to the side, they somehow botched the ammunition issue. That is, since a rocket ball was a self-contained projectile and propellant, there was no shell casing to actually eject. Yet, if you look closely, you'll see a non-existent casing fly out when fired. Just want to give credit on finding this oversight to T. Logan Matesh over at Range 365. And I'll put an article link in the description for anybody wanting to read more about his detailed analysis. Moving on to prices. Suffice it to say, information on this pistol was very hard to find. One of you, Tyler Bioshock Rodriguez, I hope by the way that's your real name, even foresaw the difficulty in this endeavor. But don't worry boys, I dug deep and I got us some numbers. According to the book, The Gunning of America, Business and the Making of America's Gun Culture, the author cites the 1850 Volcanic Pistol price at $11.50. While I couldn't find a confirming primary source, College Hill Arsenal writes that in the mid-1850s, the Volcanic Pistol was sold for $18 with a plain brass frame and $20 for a pistol with a plated and engraved frame. While this may be true, thereafter demand, and apparently price, declined.
Oh, okay. So the real-life variant looks a little bit better. But the Red Dead Online variant of it looks like crap.
The author of The Gunning of America writes that between 1857 and 58, the company produced 3,200 volcanic pistols, which the author refers to as flawed, because of the many radical defects in the gun, along with its faulty ammunition, which diminished its lethality. Because of this, quote, most of the 3,200 repeaters collected dust for many decades until they were placed on planks, laid over sawhorses at the company's employee entrance, and sold for 50 cents a piece. Wish I would have had a crack at those. While we don't know how many decades these guns collected dust, we could estimate that they were sold off sometime around the 1880s. While that doesn't bode too well for the 1898 price, we do know that there was eventually some level of demand for the Volcanic Pistol, even if only to collectors, as King Farouk of Egypt, an antique firearms enthusiast, had 2 Volcanic Pistols in his possession when he took the throne in 1936. Now granted, by that time these guns were likely around 80 years old and much harder to find. In 1898, however, these were half that age and far less rare. So this is a tough one. If I had to put a number on it, I'd say as a relatively useless but perhaps collectible novelty, in 1898 this gun would likely fall somewhere between the 1850s retail and 1880s employee price, around $10. This puts the Red Dead Online markup at a steep 2,600% for the Volcanic Pistol. Moving on to rifles. We'll start off with the Evans Repeater, which retails in Red Dead Online for $300. Historically, this gun was the Evans repeating rifle, though it wasn't available in the 1898 Sears and catalog, as production of these ended in 1879. An 1876 advertisement prices the gun at $12. By 1898, there were dozens of superior repeaters on the market made by companies like Marlin and Winchester, and these are priced between $10 and $15. And while these more modern repeaters had lower ammo capacity than the Evans, they were superior in many other ways. As such, I'd put the 1898 Evans price at $8. This means that the Red Dead Online markup for the historical 1898 price is a whopping 3,650%. Next, we'll tackle both the Litchfield and Lancaster repeaters. The Litchfield is historically the 1860 Henry repeating rifle, which was produced until 1866 when an improved model called the Winchester Model 1866 took its place. This 1866 model is the Lancaster repeater in Red Dead Online.
I suppose you could say this is Litchfield's big brother,
which is listed in the Wheeler and Rawson catalog for $243. While the Sears and Roebuck's catalog doesn't sell model 1866s, it does sell the more modern models 1873, 86, and 92s, all ranging between $10.50 to $14. As such, I'd peg the historic 1898 Lancaster repeater price at $10, and the Litchfield around $8. This puts the Red Dead Online markup for the Lancaster repeater at 2,330%. As for the Litchfield repeater, which retails in the Wheeler & Rawson catalog for $348, the Red Dead Online markup is a staggering 4,250%. The last rifle we'll look at is the Varmint rifle, a gun that retails on Red Dead Online for $72. I actually love this little gun, and I use it constantly when hunting small game for pelts. Historically, this was the Winchester Model 1890, which was available in the 1898 Sears catalog for $9.72. This would put the Red Dead Online markup at 641%, which doesn't actually sound too bad after comparing it to some of the others. Now we'll move on to shotguns. In Red Dead Online, the double-barrel shotgun is listed for $185. Historically, this gun is clearly the Remington Model 1889 double-barrel shotgun, which retails in the 1898 Sears and Roebuck's catalog standard for $20. Not surprising, we have another Red Dead Online markup here, this one amounting to 825%. Now, for those of you wondering, this is also the same model as the rare shotgun and the sawed-off shotgun. And not that it needs to even be said, but the rare shotgun would cost more than the standard, and the sawed-off would, well, sure, you can figure it out. Next up is a pump-action shotgun, which in Red Dead Online retails for $266. Historically, this would have been the Winchester Model 1897, which was available in the 1898 Sears catalog for $16.88. Crunching the numbers here, we can calculate that the Red Dead Online markup on this is 1,476%. Next, we'll tackle the repeating shotgun, which retails on Red Dead Online for a whopping $434. Golly, I wonder if this one's going to have a markup. Historically, this was the Winchester Model 1887 repeating shotgun, which was for sale in the 1898 Sears catalog for $16.88. This comes out to a markup of 2,471%, which is pretty steep, but not too surprising. The last gun we're going to look at is the semi-auto shotgun, which retails for $540. Why does it cost so much, you might ask? Well, it costs so much because it didn't exist in 1898, so you had to pay a penalty to go to the future to get it. Historically, this gun was the Browning Auto 5, which wasn't actually produced until 1902. So this gun's as out of place as, oh, I don't know, say horses like the Ardennes and the Hungarian Half-Bred. Psst, that's a plug for another video. Now, I'm pretty sure this gun's just in the game because it was in the previous iteration, but unfortunately, it's not historically accurate. Sorry, boys. All right, now that we've covered some of the guns in the Wheeler & Rawson catalog, I want to talk a little bit before we go about some guns that aren't for sale. And just to be clear, I'm not saying that they should be for sale either. Take, for instance, the Gatling gun, which was deployed with American troops in the Spanish-American War that was raging in 1898 and was receiving rave reviews from the front. Now, incredibly, I found an article in 1898 talking about the government testing electric Gatling guns, which use a motor in place of a crank in order to fire up to 1,200 rounds a minute. Even better than the Gatling gun is the Maxim gun, which was vastly more efficient and less labor-intensive. I found an article in 1898 where one was brought to a lecture hall at Columbia University where the inventor, Hiram Maxim, fired 600 blank cartridges indoors for the crowd's amusement. According to the article, this set the attendees into a frenzy of yells. Then, quote, unable to restrain their enthusiasm, jumped from their seats as soon as the firing was over and scrambled in a mad rush for the discharged shells ejected from the gun. The reporter went on to state that this was, quote, probably the first time that field artillery had ever been fired in a student's lecture room. Yes, and probably the last two. Now, both these guns are already in the game, but the next one isn't. And that's the Colt Browning 1895, which was significantly lighter than either the Gatling or the Maxim, could be carried by one man, if needed, and saw action in 1898. And here's the best part. This is really going to bring things full circle. And I'm actually really hesitant to even mention it because there's this side of me that really fears, and I'm sure some of you believe this too, that Rockstar might actually implement this at the game. But here it goes. At the 1896 New York Bike Show, the Columbia Bicycle Company, in partnership with Colt, introduced the Columbian Machine and Colt gun, which mounted a Colt Browning 1895 to a bicycle. Yes, this was a real thing. According to an 1890...
You know how much chaos I can cause with that if they added that to the game? Towns wouldn't be safe.
Article in the magazine The Engineer, this urban assault bike could fire 100 shots in 16 seconds. If this were in the game, Lord knows how many noobs we'd see riding through Valentine with these bad boys. I pray that Rockstar doesn't see this video. As many of you know, this channel is not monetized, so if you do enjoy...
Yeah, it's monetized now. So, yeah. that's that. Historical accuracy of firearms in Red Dead Online. I'm gonna do the last 2 videos on the list tomorrow. So this is gonna be the only video I'm uploading today. And then next week is when it gets exciting because I got some ideas. Yeah, that's it. See you guys tomorrow and have a good day.